Hello there, Ray here, and today I would like to show you guys my automated bamboo farm. This thing is efficient, cheap, and very fast. If you want to learn more about bamboo and how it works in the game, I did do a separate video explaining all those type of facts that may interest you. So if you want to know more about that, I will link it down in the description. I designed my farm here to be relatively cheap to build up, not needing very many material, as well as allowing you to get large amounts of bamboo, even when there's no players online. This farm here can be used to farm up the bamboo just for the items, or if you want to, you can also attach on the smelting array that I added. This can allow you to automatically smelt any items that you put into this chest here. The way that my automatic bamboo farm works is that the bamboo will naturally grow up as long as there is a player in the area or that it is built inside of spawn chunks. Once the bamboo has grown tall enough, on average, one plant will at least reach this tall. Once it comes tall enough to come in contact with this observer here, it will activate this machine, which is going to go through and break off all of the bamboo. This allows us to easily be able to harvest large amounts of bamboo while also keeping the size of the farm relatively small. Now the machine is going to sweep across and break the bottom pieces. This will also allow all the top pieces to break off as well. Pretty much what's going to happen is items are going to fall downwards. Some items may land on top of the pieces that are still left, but those are used to allow the bamboo to grow afterwards. When the machine returns, it's going to knock off any items that are sitting on top, and that way they're all down on the ground. Any items that kind of get thrown off to the side are just going to be pushed back onto the surface with some water streams on the side. Also on either end, there is a little bit of gap to allow the items to fall downwards, and underneath we have some rails. Once the machine has reached the other end, it's just going to activate some redstone, which is going to activate some minecarts, and they're going to sweep across the entire area which is being farmed. This is going to allow us to pick up all the items that have came from the farm. And after all the bamboo has been picked up, the minecarts will take it all the way back to the furnace array, and then they will start unloading it. The furnace array system here is a double unloading hopper minecart, so it pulls items twice as fast because they're going through two different hoppers. So they're put into a chain that just takes them down to this furnace array, and this is just a simple furnace array that I came up with, which allows you to smelt up any item you want to. So you might have like a cactus farm also in the area, and this way you could automatically smelt up something like cactus and use the bamboo as fuel, and then the green dye will come out the bottom. Cactus farm is a great example because both the cactus as well as the bamboo will naturally grow and be farmed easily. And if you want to, you can also come into these furnaces and then just click out the item that is in here, and this will allow you to get the XPs from the furnace. This way you can get large amounts of XP, as XP will build up inside the furnace until you pull the items out. Be an easy way to grab some XP when needed. This farm is highly customizable. As you can see here, I shrunk it down quite small, so if you don't want to have it as large, you can do this as well. And like I say, you can choose to hook up the furnace array or not. Here you can see, even though the walls are fairly high, the bamboo often will grow unevenly, and therefore some of them will grow quite tall, and then will be able to pop off and fall onto the walls. You also can adjust how tall you want the bamboo to grow before having it harvest, just by adjusting where the machine gets its input from. So here I just have the input quite high, and then it will send a signal down to the flying machine. I came up with this kind of cool way to send redstone downwards without having to use slime blocks. And what it does is it will update this piston, which will push these downwards, and then this observer here will update this bottom piston, and then this observer here will update this piston, which will reset the system. It's kind of a cool way to be able to send signals, like I said, without slimestone, so you can kind of see how it works. But yeah, the particles from breaking large amounts is quite laggy, and I do have my particles set to minimum. This will produce large amounts of bamboo all at once, which can be overwhelming to collect. So it is more efficient actually to do smaller batches but more frequently, like the design over there. Bamboo grow really fast. On average, every bamboo will grow 3 blocks tall in just 10 minutes time. This makes it a really fast farm to collect not only large amounts of items, but also get infinite amounts of fuel. This design here produces 22,000 bamboo per hour. This allows you to be able to smelt up to 5,400 items per hour. The farm is quite simple and consists of some very basic redstone in it. Here we have a flying machine which just gets activated when a bamboo is tall enough to activate this observer here. And the flying machine will take off across it and also has some wings, and these wings will try to break as many bamboo as possible. But it is currently at its block limit, so you will not be able to add on any more without making another one of these sweeping machines. The sides here are made out of water, which is flowing towards the bamboo. Bamboo itself cannot be broken by the water, but if it was a sapling, it would, and this allows you to easily be able to push in all the items that come outside back into the farm. When the flying machine gets to end, it just activates some redstone, which updates the machine again and sends it back the other way. Now having water streams over here instead of walls is just easier to build in survival, as you don't have to try to worry about how tall the bamboo is going to reach. Doesn't matter what height it is, bamboo will most likely fall within this water and be able to get pushed back into the center. This also allows you to minimize the amount of rails which it takes to be able to collect up all the items. That way it's just less resources for you to have to put into the build. Once the flying machine hits the end, it activates some redstone here, just some pistons which are going to pull some observers, and they just update in such a way that once the whole machine comes back, it's going to send a signal down into this redstone line here, and what this line does is just turns on these minecarts and lets them go all the way down to the very end and come back one time. We want the minecarts to be constantly pulsing, such as if you run a very large farm, you can just flick this switch. This will just unlock them, allow them to go whenever they need to, and then they will automatically unload and then take off again whenever needed. All the bamboo is directly being pumped into each of the furnaces, and then there is a simple smelter array that I came up with, which just has a chest and a hopper minecart. And what it does is it has a detector rail here, and once the hopper minecart gets full, it'll send a signal around, which will just open up this trapdoor, allowing it to go across and deposit its items across all the hoppers, and this way it can smelt it up. There's also a safety system just in case hopper here gets full of items, then it'll come around and it will lock this comparator, saying that it doesn't need any more items, so the hopper minecart won't be constantly going back and forth until it's used up the items it has. This allows it to be efficient and also quite small. You can see there's not very much redstone to it, and underneath here is just a bunch of the furnaces and some hoppers that are taking items out and putting them all into a single chest. And the lever back here is also the off switch in case you want to turn off the hopper minecarts. In 1.14, they tried to optimize some parts of the game, and they changed some things about it, including some weird behavior that we noticed during our stream, such as crops are able to grow when the player is in spectator mode, or if they are in spawn chunks. So this is something that is not seen before in prior versions of Minecraft, but this is something you would normally see if the player was in normal mode, just standing here, crops would be able to grow kind of in a big, huge circle around the player, having the radius be 8 chunks. And this is still true for 1.14. As you can see, I kind of AFK'd here in the center, and all the bamboo around me in a big circle all started to grow. All the bamboo outside the circle, you can see, is not grown at all. And you can see this snaps directly to the chunks. Now we're here at spawn, and around me you can see there is a large square. The square is actually 21 chunks by 21 chunks. The area of the square is because the render distance of my server is set to 10, and this means that there is 10 chunks on either side of the player, and then one chunk in the center. And the server will kind of do the same thing as it would do with a player here, and it will load that chunks around the world spawn point. So it's going to end up loading the spawn chunks, which are normally 16 by 16, and a little bit larger. In this area is similar to having the player loaded area. Random ticks will be able to occur. This means that things like bamboo, as well as other things that use random ticks, will be able to grow, such as crops and like sugarcane. This allows us to be able to farm up all these different things while the server is running, even though there is no players online within inside of this area. This will allow us to make more types of infinitely automatic farms without players and other crazy things that can be done on servers. I see this farm as being the go-to source for fuel, as this is really easy to build up. And with bamboo being able to grow with no player needing to be in the area, just a server running, makes it very easy to get infinite amounts of fuel and be running stuff while no one's even online. In my last video where I talked about bamboo facts, a lot of you guys asked if bamboo was affected by liquids, and the shoots are affected by liquids, but the stalks themselves, once they've grown up like this, are no longer be able to get pushed. It is also flammable, so if you put it here, you'll see that it will be able to get pushed, as well as it can also burn if I put it like here. Doesn't matter if it's a sapling or like the stalk here. Both of them will be able to get caught on fire. And when it catches on fire, if it burns the bottom part, it will break off the top part. You guys also asked if the bamboo was positioned in the block similar to that of like flowers. Here you can see this flower is off to this side. And if I put down a bamboo sapling, you can also see it's off to this side. And the Y level doesn't matter. So let's try a different area. Here you see it's way over here in this corner, and the bamboo is the same. So yeah, it's very similar to the offset of the flowers. Bamboo items will most likely be used to craft up scaffolding, as it hasn't been introduced in this snapshot yet, but has been introduced in the Bedrock edition. So getting large amounts of bamboo will not only be useful for fuel, but also for scaffolding, as it seems to be an ideal block people are going to use for building. The farm itself is not too complex. I will provide a world download to this world if you're curious exactly how everything is built up. I'll just give you a little flyby of some of the redstone so you can kind of see it. You can see the rails here, and here is the simple flying machine, and it just sits in here. And then there's also this detector system, the piston here. And then on the far side of the farm, we just have a bumper system, which consists of an immovable block and an observer that goes into a repeater, and it goes back into this piston to update it again. Yeah, there's really not that much to it, and allows you to provide unlimited amounts of fuel as well as bamboo. A cheap, fast, efficient, automatic bamboo farm for all your fuel as well as bamboo needs. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you guys found this video interesting, show me a like and share this with others. If you'd like to see more farms like this for 1.14, as well as other crazy things I discover in Minecraft, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as hit that bell button for notifications. If you guys have any questions about this farm, please ask me down in the comments. Bye bye!